Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. But today, I think we're gonna upgrade the crane and make it modular. Alright, so today we are definitely gonna change up the crane system here and make it a little more modular. So yeah, pretty much every episode so far has been been working and upgrading this whole crane system here. It's been working pretty well for me. So might as well keep updating it and upgrading it as much as possible, I guess, right? So what I'm planning to do now is first, let's increase the amount of hinges that are up there so that we can control the articulation of up and down as you see there. But definitely need to do one quick thing, and that is, well, aside from trying not to break my home here, is to bring this down a little bit so that I can edit it as easy as possible. And of course I just destroyed something right there. Probably a bad idea of doing it that way, but oh wells. Looks like I need to fix a little bit of the wall here and a bit of the ceiling too, since it's all kind of crumbled down. That actually looks pretty interesting, the way it's formulated the damages here. It makes it pretty spiky, which is kind of weird, but kind of works. And it's not too bad. And it's like, looks like warped wood right now because we have the wood skin on here on this paint. And it looks like it's gonna raise the drill up a little bit too, which is cool. And it's like pretty much lost one real block, really, it looks like. So not too bad. Alright, so we need to change this out. We need to add additional hinges so that we can control the up and down motion a little bit better. So we definitely need to take out the drill, which is here, and then we'll take out these two pistons and kind of should decide if I want to keep two pistons or have just one piston. Two pistons seem to be okay for the most part, so but I do like one piston system, so it's not as long. But if we're going to turn to a drilling system, I found that two was pretty optimal for most things. Probably not for gold and silver and even platinum, because it's gonna be like way too deep underground anyways. But I think we should be okay with two, so maybe I'll just stick with that. Alright, so I'm gonna break these things down, take the pistons off. Luckily we have a nice tall platform so we could do this, otherwise I'm gonna make a lot of weird scaffold things up here, which is probably not ideal, but not too bad right now. How should we do this? So we definitely had the crane system more leaning towards one side, so we can make or have three additional hinges if we want to do that. We could do three, so we could do like say one. Let's see if we can do this way. One here and another one here, so then we can put it slap dab right in the middle for the pistons. So we definitely need to do probably some conveyor junctions here in order to do that. So we can put on the hinge here and also here. So we can do, yeah, we could do 1, 2 if anything. Don't think I have all the parts. Alright, so I got some parts here. So I'm going to put the conveyor junction here. And here if we want to do 3. Do we want to do 3? Probably safer to do 3. So let's just do that. Alright, so then we need pretty much hinges here. So we can easily connect this. We gotta make sure it's in the same rotation as the other one. So it's this here. Alright, so I'm gonna point them with the directional thing up there with the hazard button there. And same thing for this one. So we all have the same way. So two ways to connect this. We can use a merge block, or we can use the attached setup, meaning getting rid of the part itself. Alright, so I usually do this with the merge block setup, but we can try it with the parts like that. So what we do need, of course, is some way to connect them all. So we definitely don't need conveyor junctions per se, but probably better to do something like that. Or you know what we can do is use a conveyor tube on this side, and then we could do a conveyor here. I'm actually not sure if that's gonna be able to do that and put the part right there in front of it. If it works, then great, but if not, I gotta find a different solution. I think I need some probably pistons in order to put this together. Maybe. Let's just see what happens actually. Hopefully I can maybe put the part in there. I'm not sure. I feel like this is not gonna work out like that, but we can always see. Alright, so we definitely can't do it because it's a block too close. So another way to do that is probably, let me think here. Can we angle it a certain way for this to work? Probably not. Alright, so we angled it up, and if we want, oh, we could. That worked. We put the part there, and awesome. That is actually pretty perfect. Now we can put the curved conveyor tube there, and we can put another part over here. And then of course we could weld these guys together, and then also attach them so we have that access. This is actually pretty perfect. Alright, so I'm gonna weld up the parts. There we go. And we should be able to name these guys as well. I think we'll just name them hinge weld for now. Alright, there we go. And then we just need to realize this one's colored differently. There we go. We need to get these guys up and running as well. Alright, that's all welded up. And what we do need to do is attach the hinges. Actually, let me get to this port right here to do that. Actually didn't need to do that. Could have just used the build vision. Let's see here. So the hinge welds. So all these we can do attach, and that should be good. Yeah, it looks good. Not too bad. So these are the weld ones. I'm gonna have to group those up later, but now what we can do is add that one specific thing here for our system. So I think even with this many hinges, we can add kind of a rotor system if we really want to rotate something. But I don't think we necessarily need that. So we can just leave it as is. We can kind of bend it down a little bit more so we can work on it and create the modular piece for it. So at first I was thinking to do that I can use a merge block, but that's actually gonna kind of stick the grid in its place. So that's not gonna work out because it needs to collect stuff. So I can't use a merge block to connect it with into a conveyor junction and things like that because it's gonna get stuck. So what we're gonna have to do is probably go with the connector method. But before we do that, we definitely need to change up these hinge setup here. Actually, what was the motion for that? That was hinge welds. So we just probably need to create a group now since we have 3. So just call these hinge weld group. We'll just put numbers on these 1, 2, and 3 for now. I mean, ideally, we just probably want to say. Ideally, we want to name them to be in the right order. So I don't know what the right order is right now. I don't really care to find out. So we'll just leave it as that for now, for the time being. But we now have hinge welds, so we just probably need to recompile run it. And we got an issue. PW is not found. PWs were my pistons, I believe. So we'll get rid of that for now. Recompile run, looks good. And we can move this up and down with some ease. Perfect. So I'm just gonna lay this down a little bit so we can continue to work on it. And it looks like we're good to go. So we need 2 pistons. 2 pistons and a connector is what we're looking at doing. So where's the connector? We don't have much space, that's fine. Okay, so 2 pistons and a connector. So we can add 2 pistons here. This way. 1, 2. Gotta careful this hole. Let me just actually patch it up and color it later. And we need our connector here. And we'll do it this way. Alright, so that's how we're gonna connect our modular system here. Again, I was thinking of using a merge block, but that's not gonna work out because it does need to funnel through into the whole entire system here. So we have to use a connector. Unless there's another way of doing it, but I can only think of a connector right now to do that. So we just gotta weld these guys up, and then we can create the modular systems. And there. Alright, so we're all set. We have the connector there so that we can connect into our modular systems. The only problem I see with this is that the modular systems would need their own individual batteries for it to be able to connect. Unless that's when I use a merge block to connect it into its kind of housing or where it's going to be stored. That might be the best way to do it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to think about that while I put these pistons together. Alright, so this looks pretty good. It articulates pretty well. So not a problem there. Awesome. But then we put the modular piece on. That's where we need to kind of figure that system out. Oop, I just fell straight down. So, like I mentioned, in order for it to use connector, we can do one of 2 things. One being a merge block to merge onto like the storage unit of it. And the other would be to put a battery on it. I don't necessarily care to put a battery on it because that's extra weight that doesn't need to be part of that piece over there. And it is starting to look a little odd. I don't really care to keep staring at it. But I think I'm going to go with that kind of merge block method. So what I mean by that is pretty much put a merge block against a wall. Maybe I'm just going to use this building for now. Actually, no. I'm just going to use a blank wall. So let me create a wall really quick somewhere so I can have that kind of storage system. Let me put that together really quick and we'll see you in a second. Here we go. That is what I was kind of thinking in terms of a merge block method, where we have our welders connected towards a merge block. So the merge block's right in the middle so it can get its power for the connector through the walls. And once it unmerges, it's going to take the power from the crane system. So it's a little bit bulkier than I would probably prefer it, to be honest, but it's not too bad. So what we're going to do is connect that connector to this connector here, which we can probably call this a different name. So just do weld connector, that's fine. So now we have the connector here connected to conveyor junction, to conveyor tubes, to another conveyor junction, and then to the welders. So 2 welders all connected into this middle one here. I could definitely make it a little bit shorter. For an example, if I put the welder up on top on the merge block and have the corners into this conveyor, that works just as well. I did want to make it a little bit longer just so I could put a little bit of a camera there. So this should be okay. I haven't tested it out just yet, but this is what it's looking like. And we can definitely do this with the grinder. Same concept, where you have 2 on each side. And in the drill system, we could do similar as well, or even differently. I'm thinking similar because I do want the merge blocks to be kind of within it and not protruding out. Initially, my idea was to kind of have it protruding out, which is not ideal, as I say, I guess. So, with this kind of system all set up, I think I should be able to kind of just drive right in and get that connection going. So it's a bit of a touchy one. So it looks like maybe up to about there, or maybe back it up a little bit, because we need to bring this thing down. So I think we needed to put the connector a little bit lower. so we can easily get to it. So it looks like we're a little off from it, so we can connect to it now, but it's not gonna be the straightest thing in the world. So that's the biggest problem I have. So maybe I shouldn't have done it vertically, maybe I should have done it horizontally, but ultimately I think I need to just drop it down a bit more. So I mean, what we can do is actually just connect it this way, and then we drop the merge block a little bit, so then we have so we can fix this up a little bit. So we're connected in here, and I should have counted it down because we never know if Clang was gonna visit us. Luckily, nothing happened so far, so that's a good thing. So now we're just gonna find a merge block, and that would be this one here. We're gonna have to toggle off. Okay, we're gonna toggle off, and it looks like we now have full control of the welding system right now. So let's back this guy up a little bit. Alright, so now it is kind of dangling on its own over there, and I do want to test. Oh, it's a bit heavy, it looks like, or is it just the way it's leaning? Let's see if we can kind of manipulate this. Oh, perfect. We can manipulate this and articulate it up and down without a lot of issues, which is perfect. So let's see if we can put the welding block there, and it works. It turns on and off. Okay, that is actually really good in terms of what I kind of wanted. So we should drop this down a little bit. So let's just drop this merge block probably down one. I'll just let the parts fall on the floor. Oh no, I had just enough space for it. So we're gonna put it one down. We can do two down. No, I think one down's good enough. So we gotta put one here. We'll put it down there, and we should be able to merge block it onto it without any issues, and it should be just high enough. The floor's not flat, so if I continue to make this wall, I'm not sure how far it's gonna get, but it should be decent for the most part, I would think. But who knows? We'll see what happens. So we'll grab this guy, straighten out a little bit. Let's get in here, unpark that, and what we're gonna do is pretty much try to line this thing up and kind of put it back in. So that's the tricky part about this with the merge block, is to kind of get it exactly perfectly lined up to kind of merge it in. It looks like I'm breaking stuff right now, which is not ideal. And okay, so that's okay. We want to turn that merge block on and kind of bring it as close as possible and drive forward. So this is a big problem where we're gonna cause a lot of issues in Clang or crashing. So that's not the best thing in the world, and I'm not sure what's going on here, but I might be kind of stuck. Okay, so let's bring this up, and there's a chance that we might get ourselves into a clanging situation. Well, right now I'm stuck in that hole, which is not good. Okay, so it's bouncing out now. Alright, let's just fix this arm first. We'll probably bring it that way, and then we'll drive right into it. That doesn't help that there's a little bit of a hole over there that I've been kind of falling into. I kind of broke my scaffolding stairs, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, there's a bit of a hole here that's kind of changing my whole direction, so that needs to be kind of fixed. And it looks like I broke my conveyor by hitting that bit of a scaffolding over there too. So okay, I think that's good enough, and we could swing this guy over like so and bring it down so we can get to the merge, and hopefully that'll work. Oh, what just happened there? Okay, so that's not working out too well. Not sure why it just did that. This hole is the biggest problem I'm having here. And let me just park that. Okay, I think I hit it a little too hard somehow and pretty much broke it. Okay, all fixed, and we're still not merged in yet for some reason. So Let's see if we can kind of articulate it some more so that it can... Oh, this is not great. Okay, so I think the merge block is kind of broken, which I'm not sure why I couldn't weld it before. Okay, all fixed. Let's try this one more time and see if we can get this merged in. Probably not the best idea I've had so far or to date, because I just ended up breaking everything on here. Okay, so we should be fairly lined up, and if we slowly get to the merge, we should be okay. And let's just park it there. And we're gonna hope for the best, and nothing is going to clang out here. There, we're connected, and for whatever reasons, that connector came right off of there and merged right into that. So that's kind of weird. We definitely need to find a more sophisticated way of doing this, because honestly, this is not going to work out where I'm going to keep likely going to keep breaking it, to be honest. Initially, I was thinking of creating a system where I didn't use a merge block and I can connect this whole modular system using a landing gear instead. So we can just, you know, kind of have it glue onto the modular pieces so that we can easily pick them up from that way. But it looks like we're going to have to put a battery on here in order to do that, which is, again, not something I really want to do because of the weight issue that we might experience. Probably should be okay based on having the three hinges there, but didn't really care to add that though, to be honest. So we'll keep it as this for now. So in this case, I think what I really want to do is increase the strength of the connector just a little bit, because it's a little bit on the weak side. We're just gonna be 30%. I think that'll be good. And we'll just try and line this up again. Yep, putting it down by one block seems to be a good decision. And I'm not sure why it was able to just yank you right off of the connector when it merged. But I guess that's just the way it works, I guess. I'm not sure. So we should be lined up in a little bit. So let's just unlock where we are locked to into that. Okay. So we are gonna see if this works out. Hopefully not too bad. Okay, so that is not ideally lined up still. So that's the problem I'm having with this horizontal system type thing. So that looks good. It looks like I banged it and it moved a little bit. So here's the issue now, is that if I do it this way, it's never going to be a perfect lineup with this here, which is not the best thing in the world. I'm afraid to do this, but what if we did do 100% on this connector? So if we did 100% here, will it kind of zap into it? Not necessarily, so it's not going to do that. Okay, that's okay. So we lock in, we can unlock that, and we should be okay here. Okay, so I'm still breaking stuff along the way, which is not good because we need to back the system up a bit. And now we should have a decent system. Looks like it broke some more stuff. Yeah, definitely need to have a bit of a more sophisticated way of doing this so it doesn't break. So if I bring this back to the merge block there, I'm going to continue to break stuff, and this fog is not helping with the view like before, which is okay. So every time I get close to the weld, it just stops. I mean, it just pulls it off of it, which is not terrible. So we got to find a way to kind of make it stick a little bit better. So I mean, one way I can think of having it stick pretty well is that having it at 100% on both connectors, right? So that way it can kind of go right towards the middle of here once it gets unmerged. So ideally we want to So we probably have to unmerge it out here. So we got to use a system to do that. So we can use a sensor, a button, a timing block, whatever we can do to kind of just tell the system to unlock the merge block and let the strength grab the two connectors together. Hopefully it doesn't break anything. And then that way we can have it kind of right towards the middle of the connecting piece there. So right, I think that is probably what the ideal thing would be for this system here. So if I were to bring this guy down a little bit and go forward, this fog does not help whatsoever, and we'll just jump in here and bring this guy down, and that's the 100% strength that just happened there, which isn't too bad. Now what we want to do is have a system where it tells this merge block to be off. And what I was actually hoping for it to do is to just grab it, but once we do that, there's no power. So that did not work out whatsoever from what I thought was going to happen. So, Alright, so this is going to get a little tricky. So what I'm thinking now, maybe we could do it this way. And probably use a rotor here. So do we want to use a rotor? If we use a rotor, it might be a little heavy. If we use a hinge, I'm afraid it's going to start flopping a little bit. So let's just use a rotor. Let's use an advanced rotor here. So we just plop it here. And what we're going to do is make it into a small grid. So we can put on a smaller battery here, because we only need a little bit of battery on that thing, to be honest, and not too much. So that might solve the issue that I'm having is with power here. We're gonna put rotor here. We're gonna get rid of the rotor head, because what we want to do is have a smaller one there. So we're gonna do, where is that? That is the, add a small rotor head. So let's just put that there, and we should be able to weld that up. Perfect. And we should put a small connector there, which is a little bit better than a large one in this case, where it's not going to be too high up. We'll put it there, and we should be able to add, oop, that is not exactly how I wanted it to be positioned. Okay, so let's try that again and put it the right way. So we want to put it smack dab in the middle, like so. Probably jump over. Oh, nope, can't jump over. Alright, we have a connector here, and from this thing we can add some small batteries. So we can add like one small one here for now, and we can add it around the rest later. So then this way at least we have some power. And then from here we can get that 100% lock in. Well, we probably don't want the 100% now. We're likely going to break something we do 100% now. So let's just reduce that just a little bit. So we're going to say, looks like my camera's broken. Let's just do, oh look, the connector's at, let's just do 20% on this one. And we'll just change that one a little bit too, because we definitely don't need it to be at 100% now. Alright, we changed it to 20%, and we should be able to get close to it this way, and should get that nice little lock in. Oh, looks like a little off here. There. That looks pretty good to me. So let's just park that, get our connector connected, and we have a welding arm. So I think that's going to be the solution. Let me just back this up a little bit, and oh, it's a little bit wobbly. Bring this up. Alright, so it is definitely a little bit on the wobbly side. We should probably lock that rotor. So let's just share the inertia, lock the rotor. And actually the pistons I didn't even have And have these pistons on shear inertia as well, so that's what has probably been keeping it a little bit wobblier than I wanted it to. So let's just back this whole thing up so we don't break anything. Looks like we need a repair. I think it was the camera that was broken, probably some other stuff too, but it looks like we have a decent welding arm and it can be articulated up and down, and it's not too heavy, so this is looking pretty good. So we can always bring this close to the wall here and kind of weld it up now. So this is okay. Alright, so we don't have much steel plates, but we are looking good. Maybe I should have put a hinge more closer to the head instead. That way I can articulate it better instead of having it up there. Well, either way, we needed multiple hinges in order to carry all this weight. So I think we have a decent solution here for the system. So I just gotta build the rest out in terms of you know, a welder, well, not a welder, a grinder, a drill system, and so forth. So let me fix this guy up a little bit since it looks like something's broken, which I think it is the camera and also the merge block, which it's always gonna be damaged. And then eventually we're gonna have to find a more sophisticated system, to be honest, and to attach it back into the wall or the connector without having to smash it constantly and break everything every time we try to lock it back in place. Well, I'm gonna see if I can lock it back in place now, but I might have to use some kind of like landing gear situation, and maybe have some kind of other kind of automated system where I can slowly bring it back onto the merge block. Not sure how I'm gonna do that, but it's a bit of an idea that I'm hoping would work out eventually. Right now, probably not. And I probably have that conveyor portion there broken as well. So we're gonna have to find a way to fix that. Alright, so let's see if we can put this back again without breaking anything. So we'll bring this up. Bring this towards the downward angle. And we're just gonna drive into it. So I think we should have set it up where it is more horizontal than vertical. Because horizontal, we have to really lay it perfectly this way. And if we put it more of a horizontal flat area, I could just drop it on a platform and potentially have like these landing gear systems and such slowly get it back into a merge block. And then I can do the same thing with having it flipped over, and then we can just easily connect to it. So that's going to be more of a sophisticated system that I'm going to have to think up and build upon. So probably going to save that for later. Right now we're going to keep it simple, which is pretty much using a system such as this. And we can slowly just kind of push it forward and hopefully it connects. It's not. Why? Alright, so now we have a problem where it's not merging into it. I don't see why it can't merge right now, so it must be because of the connector. The merge block should be okay. Yeah, the merge block is okay. It's pretty much touching it, but it's not merging in, so we may have to just disconnect the connector and see what happens, maybe? So if we can get to that. Alright, so yeah, that might be the case. So let's see what happens. I'm just going in. Gonna unlock. But it just falls down. So that's not ideal at all. So what happened there? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so honestly, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Why did it not want it to merge? It's a bit of a mystery to me, to be honest. So we can try to put on a merge block on top of here and see if that works. It looks like it's gonna merge, so I'm not sure why it couldn't merge up there. So we definitely need to find a way to use a landing gear system or create another crane system to kind of maneuver it and hopefully make it automated so that we can easily get things attached and detached from the wall or where we're going to store these tools here. So that's going to be pretty much the biggest issue. Was the merge block not on? No, the merge block was on, so I'm not sure why it can merge. So this can merge with ease. So if I turned it off and then on, it merges fine. Why did this one not want to merge? Is it because it's broken? That could have been it, but it was showing yellow. No, this is working fine. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused by that. Now I'm gonna bring this guy up, so not sure I'm gonna be able to do that while it's down here like this. I really think because it was connected to this that it didn't want to merge in, but when I dropped it, it should have picked it up in that sense, but it didn't. So not too sure what's going on. I think I might be able to grab it. This is gonna be a little bit tricky, of course, but I can pick it up in a different way, I think, but I'm gonna try to do it the most horrible way possible, because that's just the way I'm gonna think about doing it, and that is to bring this guy down and hopefully get a nice little attach here. And it might actually do it because of the strength, but I don't know what's gonna happen in terms of the clanginess of it. So this is going to be a really bad idea, I think. But otherwise, I'm gonna have to find a way to bring it up in a different way. So if I do it it's likely going to clang. We'll just see what happens though. Actually, no, it's not doing too much. Ooh. That's looking good. Not too bad. And I... Okay, there goes the clang. That just disintegrated and just went nowhere. Oh, wow. That was pretty cool, to be honest, but knew that was going to happen, but just had to try it anyways. So, okay, so we definitely got to think of a different way of doing this, to be honest. And I think laying it flat down would be ideal. Well, wasted pretty much all the parts here, but what are you gonna do? Definitely had to happen. I had to try it and want to see what and pick it up. Otherwise, it'll probably take me the same amount of time to remake it anyways, to be honest. I'm just wasting parts more than anything else this way. But oh well, I was expecting a little bit more of a boom, but actually, just the system itself just disintegrated and that was left behind. So that wasn't terrible. But we do need to figure out a way to really get this going a little bit better. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I think laying it down would be ideal. So then that way we can get a better kind of merge block into the system. So it needs to be kind of high, but not too high, where we can bring the piston, not the piston, yeah, to bring the piston system or the crane system here to kind of get into a straight forward like that. So what's the lowest and highest we can go? So that just right there might be it, which isn't too bad, which I think is lining up with the wall I currently already have. So if that is the case, it kind of is. Probably want to bring it up by 1 or 2. Let's just say 1. Right? So we bring it up this way. And if we can get a flat section, I think we should be in good shape actually. Right? So okay, so that looks good. So we could definitely put like a merge block pretty much on the outer piece of it. So let's just say we're gonna put it here, and we should really honestly put a better flooring on the floor on the bottom. so we can get everything more straighter than having the kind of terrain or the voxels on the bottom determine like the height and everything like that. So that's another issue we're gonna have to deal with sooner or later. So let's just put this here. So this is the merge. Where'd the merge block go? One of these is the merge block. So there's the merge block right here. So we can do a flat laid down version of it. So let's just take care of that really quick. All right, so here's a merge block there, and we can build upon the merge block the way I wanted it to work. So honestly, actually, we can't build it this way. We do need it to be probably on some half blocks if anything, because I don't want it to kind of merge into the system itself. I might have to do it this way, where it's one merge block hovering above it. Maybe. Let me think it through. If I think of it the right way, in terms of the way I had it set up before, it's gonna merge into the walls here. So we definitely need to use probably, I would say, probably half walls if anything, or half steel blocks or something like that. So we can just do kind of like this, so then that way it doesn't merge into the floors whatsoever, and that'll be okay, because this piece here is going to be like the welding system or conveyors that you're gonna see here, and this is gonna be the connector piece itself. So doing it this way, we technically do not need to make it with these small rotors, so we can just put this here, that here. Well, let me just do it really quick. Alright, so we have the system all built out. So here, a same exact thing with the large connector. No battery this time, because I think we should be okay with this connection here, as long as we get it kind of right. So we can now do this a little bit better than we did vertically. So I think horizontally was the better idea, which we should have stuck with or done previously. So now it gets a little bit easier, because we don't necessarily need to drive right into it like we did before. We can easily just get into the crane system and then extend the piston here to get a good connection, as long as we're kind of close, I would think. Okay, so if we get close to it, like so, right, we can connect right into it, and we can also unlock the merge. Unfortunately, I don't know which merge block that is right now, so let me get to it really quick. Here we go. So we have the merge block on our toolbar now, so we're gonna do merge block off, and we are looking good. So what we can do at this point also is increase the connector strength. So the crane, and this one is the welder. So we're gonna do these two on, let's just say 20%. And since we're on a vertical plane here, I think I can drop it and have it connect a little bit better. Hopefully. There's a chance that it might fall over. So let's just see what happens really quickly. Actually, you know what? I just remember you need a battery to unlock and trying to get that perfect setup. Because if we unlock now, there's no batteries and we can't reconnect into it, which was a mistake we did previously. So we learned from that. Let's not do it again. I think for now, this is going to be decent in terms of having a bit of a welding arm here. If I do want to try it again with the smaller connector, I can definitely do that. But I think I'm spending a little too much time on it right now, and probably have to come back to it another day to make it a little bit more sophisticated. But for now, I think we have a decent setup for a modular system. And since we're locked in, it looks, as you see here, we can easily lock in and out of it. The only problem is not going to be the straightest thing in the world for now, but that's going to be an issue that we're going to solve a little bit later, I think. Actually, you know what? Let's just try to do it really quick. So we definitely need to put a battery on here. So we do want to use a small one. So in order to make the small one, we can use a rotor system again, which is the advanced rotor block. And then maybe we'll find out why it didn't merge previously this way. So we have an advanced rotor with a small head, connected connector with a small battery. So I think, hopefully, that works out. So the biggest problem again is that we don't want it to kind of flip over from here. So we kind of want to put maybe half blocks, if anything, all around it. But I'm gonna have to find a solution for this a little bit down the line as well, because yeah, we can use some half blocks now to prevent it from falling over, but it ultimately doesn't prevent it from lining up perfectly still. So that's still an issue, and I think I can think of a system to kind of prevent that from happening, but don't think I'm gonna be able to get the time to build it out today. All right, so let's just test it out. Let's see what happens. This is the exact same build as before we blew it up. So let's just take a quick look. So if we have it here where we can just extend the pistons, get close to the connection point here, there, and I think the crane system on the crane the connected crane 20%. The other one's probably not at 20%, so we can connect into it. And that one was the welder one, connected welder. Let's just do 20% on this guy as well. Now we can unlock it and unlock the merge block, or unmerge the merge block, and unlock the connector. It should lay down there still. It might fall over though. Looks like it's gonna fall over just a little bit, but then it's gonna connect there, which is gonna be perfectly connected onto the connector, with some exceptions, as you see here. So not perfect still. Gotta really think it through, because having it this way now is a good connection, right? So this is like almost right in the middle of the thing, which is how I want it. So we gotta think of a better way to do this. So maybe we connect it slowly and increase the strength once we move it out of the system. I don't know. It's a bit of an issue that we're experiencing here. So not sure how I'm going to fix this, to be honest. Unfortunately, this is a bit of a failed attempt at making this modular system. I think I'd kind of come back to this and see if I can make it a little bit better. But of course, what would be also helpful is if you drop a comment down below and let me know what your ideas may be in making this into a better modular system, where it'd be easy to switch it from one end to another end without kind of breaking it. And I think it might have to be a very sophisticated system where we can kind of bring it out slowly, get it connected perfectly, take it apart, bring it back to the wall or the system where it's gonna hold the tools in that way. I mean, probably the easiest thing to do is actually build 2 additional crane systems, but really wanted to give this a try. Didn't work out as well as I thought it would. But yeah, I think I just need to take a break from it, come back another time to really think about how to do this better. But again, leave a comment down below. I really want to know what your ideas would be to make this kind of a perfect lined up system where we can get the tools connected perfectly. And actually, as I'm talking about it and looking at the rotor system, maybe we could base it off of a rotor attachment, actually. So, let me give that a last go and crack at it before we end the session here. So, my idea, let me just get rid of this. We don't need this. Say goodbye to that. So the idea that I'm having now is, why have a connector? We could have just put in a rotor or maybe even a hinge, and that could have acted pretty much like our hitch system on our trucks. We could have easily have done that instead. So really wasted my time here. So let's see here. Advanced rotor. So we could throw an advanced rotor right here, right? Without the headpiece, because we can always attach that later. So we want this to be kind of up and running. So let me just get to that. But again, it might cause clang, it might not. I'm not too sure. But if we lay it flat as we did before, it should be okay. But let's see what happens. I mean, doesn't hurt to try one last time. Alright, so here's the system. Same system, this time with the rotor head instead. And hopefully this works out. Okay, so I think we should be okay here. So we have the advanced rotor here. We can do attach and detach. Let's put detach back here because we don't want to touch it unless we're ready to detach it. And of course, the 2 blocks would be the welder. Okay, so let's see if we extend the pistons close as we can to that rotor part, like so. And if we get, yep, okay, we're good there. So now, here's the problem. And once I hit attach, am I gonna get a visit from Clang? So we're gonna find out, and that's gonna be in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we've got some Clang. So that is not good. Alright, so that was a big fail in attempt of making the modular system once again. And is that the end of the crane system? I don't know. I haven't really looked at the damage at all just yet, but we'll see it next time, to be honest. If you did enjoy this video, this episode, please hit that thumbs up, like the video, and of course if you have not done so yet, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to be alerted of upcoming videos. Feel free to drop a comment down below. Let me know what is a good way of making this modular system. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.